Hey everybody, so I've been reviewing Samsung's Galaxy S10 line of phones, and the biggest new addition to this year's S10 and S10 Plus and S10e is the addition of the wide-angle camera. Now, Samsung's not the first to do this. Obviously, Huawei did it last year with the Mate 20 Pro, and LG's been doing it for years. But for some reason, 2019 seems to be the year that everyone's jumping on the wide-angle lens bandwagon, because we know Vivo just introduced a wide-angle lens with the V15 Pro. Oppo's probably going to do something similar. Xiaomi did it with the Mi 9, and if Oppo does it, OnePlus will probably do it. And there are even rumors that the next iPhone, which comes out this September, will have a wide-angle lens. So first, I want to give credit to LG, because I feel like, as usual, LG is kind of not getting the respect it deserves. Because I read a lot of reviews, and many of them will praise the wide-angle lens on the Samsung Galaxy S10 and say how useful it is to be able to get more into a frame without giving credit to LG. I feel like if one company does something years before everybody else, and then all of a sudden everybody else jump on the bandwagon, you have to give credit to the first person or first company who did it, right? So in this case, LG started the wide-angle trend before Apple, Xiaomi, Vivo, Oppo, OnePlus, Huawei, Samsung all jump or will jump on the bandwagon. So gotta give props to LG. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a fan of LG devices, but I'm gonna be fair with this comparison, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna compare the wide-angle lens of the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus against the LG V40 and also the Huawei Mate 20 Pro, because these are the three best phones right now with a wide-angle lens. So we're going to do a good old-fashioned wide-angle camera shootout. So let's go over the hardware really quick. I'm only going to talk about the wide-angle lens specs here. So on the Samsung Galaxy S10 phones, you have a 16 megapixel f2.2 wide-angle lens with a field of vision of 123 degrees. So the Samsung Galaxy's wide-angle lens is the widest of all three phones, and you'll see that in the photos later. On the LG V40, you have a 16 megapixel lens also, but it's a f1.9 aperture. So in theory, the LG V40's wide-angle lens should pull in the most light because it has a lower aperture. The lower the aperture, the more light it can take in, because that means the aperture is more wide open. And then finally, the Huawei Mate 20 Pro has a 20 megapixel wide-angle lens with an f2.2 aperture. So in terms of aperture, these two cameras are exactly the same, but the Huawei Mate 20 Pro has a higher pixel count. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I've been testing the Galaxy S10 Plus for over a week now, so I've already taken a bunch of wide-angle shots with this. I also took some with the LG V40 and the Huawei Mate 20 Pro, so I already have a set of samples that I've already examined. But what I'm going to do is I came to this park here with the Hong Kong skyline. Shitty weather today though. I'm going to take more wide-angle shots, run around, shoot some videos, and then after that I'm going to go home, load all the footage into the computer, and examine them on my 40-inch Dell 4K monitor. So that way I can, pixel peep and look at the photos more closely. And after that, I'm going to shoot the second half of this video back at home, and then hopefully have some type of results or conclusion about all three cameras. But spoiler alert, it's going to be very close because all three cameras are really damn good. Alright guys, I'm back, so let's roll the photos. So in this first set of images, you'll notice that the Huawei Mate 20 Pro's photo has a different color temperature from the other two pictures. That's like that typical Huawei over image processing that I've talked about in the past. I find that Huawei cameras tend to exaggerate and embellish whatever the scene is at the time. So that means if you're shooting something at night with neon lights and it's really vibrant colors, so like, if you're in Tokyo, Hong Kong, Seoul, photos are going to come out amazing. But at the same time, if you're shooting something kind of dull, like today, which was like a gloomy, overcast day, then you have an image that's even more dull than usual. Look at how gray it is. Now, if you look at the photos captured by the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus and LG V40, you notice that there's a little bit more color in them, and truth be told, they're more closer to real life, what I saw today with my eyes, than Huawei's image. Also notice that the Huawei Mate 20 Pro's image, it's a little bit dark overall, especially when you look at the shaded areas of the building and like the areas under shadows. Whereas on the LG V40, because of that lower aperture, there's more light that's been pulled in and it's a little bit brighter. But the Galaxy S10's image is probably the most balanced and most true to life. So now moving on to the second set of photos. As I mentioned earlier, the Galaxy S10's wide-angle camera has the widest field of vision of the three cameras at 123 degrees. I believe on the other two phones it's like 107 and 109. So right off the bat you see Samsung Galaxy S10's image is the widest, you get the most into the frame, but there's also noticeable barrel distortion. Look at the corners, it's a little bit curved, it's a little bit distorted. There's a lot less distortion in LG and Huawei's photos. Now notice that Huawei's image has that overprocessed look yet again. The vegetables here are artificially sharpened and kind of don't look that appetizing. It looks a little bit like fake. Meanwhile, the Galaxy S10's image, it's a little bit soft in focus, even at the center of the frame, but when you go to the side of the pictures in the corners, it looks terrible. It's completely mushy. Now the LG V40's photo, in my opinion, wins because it's the brightest image of the three. And look at the vegetables, they actually look appetizing. They look bright green, which is how healthy vegetables are supposed to look. So side note, the last time I did a video comparing photos between, I think, the Note 9, the iPhone XS Max, and the Huawei Mate 20 Pro, I said the same thing about Huawei's cameras, that it's a little bit over sharpened and it kind of looks a little bit artificial. And man, a lot of Huawei fans got mad at me. They like left all these comments cussing at me, saying that I was paid off by Apple, all that. That's really dumb to accuse me of being paid off by Apple to trash Huawei, because if you follow my channel, you know that I actually criticize the iPhone a lot. And actually, of all the brands that invite me to things, Huawei invites me to the most. I'm at every Huawei launch, at every Huawei event. So I have absolutely no reason to trash Huawei. I'm just being honest and just telling it like it is. And in general, I say really, really great things about Huawei phones. So if you're gonna leave angry comments in my video, please at least leave something more realistic. Don't be like, oh, I bet you LG and Samsung paid you or some shit like that. Anyway, on to the third set. Now Huawei actually wins this one, so you can't accuse me of being paid off by LG and Samsung. So you notice that the lights in the Huawei Mate 20 Pro's image are just better balanced all around. Check out that Circle K logo. It's so sharp and clean and vibrant. I know, I said earlier that Huawei photos tend to be over sharpened, and this is where Huawei's over sharpening and artificial processing actually works in its favor, because while I think it doesn't look good on plants and vegetables and human faces, I think Huawei's kind of over processing looks great when you're shooting neon lights or inside the Circle K. You can check out the water bottles and just see that they're more crisp. Everything just looks more sharp. Now you move on to the LG V40's image. You see that the Circle K logo is a little bit blown out, it's a little bit soft, and just in general, the details aren't as sharp and appealing as the Huawei Mate 20 Pro's image. Now you look at the Galaxy S10's image, it's the most balanced of the three. You know, kind of true to real life again, but at the same time, again, it's not as detailed. And just, you know, if I'm taking a picture of a store with neon lights at night, I want it to pop off the screen, and Huawei delivers that. So now let's look at the next set of photos of this construction site that's right outside my house. This freaking construction site is pissing me off because every damn day I walk out of the house and it's just dusty and loud noise jackhammers all around. But it makes for a good photo. So once again, the LG V40 has the brightest image of the three, by quite a bit actually. I mean, just look at these photos, especially when you look on the sidewalk on the right side of the picture. On the LG V40's photo, you can actually see the sidewalk pretty clearly, whereas on the Huawei Mate 20 Pro and the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, the sidewalk is really dark and a little bit blurry. But the LG V40's ability to pull in more light in every picture backfires sometimes, especially when you're shooting photos at night with a lot of lights facing you. So like right here, LG's image is completely blown out to the point that the colors don't look accurate. Now you look at the Huawei Mate 20 Pro's image, you know, it's a little bit dark all around, but the colors are a lot more accurate because everything's not blown out. It's also the most detailed shot of the 3.2 when you zoom in. And then you look at the Galaxy S10's photo, it's a little bit kind of middle of the pack again. It's a little bit more lit than Huawei Mate 20 Pro's photos, but it's not as overexposed as LG's photo. But the 3 right here, I think I would prefer Huawei's image the most. Now let's look at some videos. If it's during the day with decent lighting, all 3 phones are capable of capturing pretty solid videos with the wide angle camera, but I think the Galaxy S10's videos are a little bit better. So right here we have the Huawei Mate 20 Pro's footage in the middle. You have Samsung on the left and LG on the right. Notice that as I walk, the Huawei footage in the middle has the most micro jitteriness. The audio in the Mate 20 Pro's videos also sounds a bit flat and teeny. While the LG V40, the mic is a little bit too sensitive as it picks up so much wind noise. Now these problems are even more noticeable at night. Look at the Huawei Mate 20 Pro's video right here. It's very jerky with even more micro jitteriness, and listen to the sound, it's like completely distorted. This is a terrible video. Now you look at the LG V40's video, the wind noise is so overwhelming that you can't really hear anything. And look at all the lights, they're completely overexposed. Now the Galaxy S10's video, it's not great by any stretch, but it's the best of the three by default, because the LG V40 and Huawei Mate 20 Pro's video footage just completely fell apart at night. Now there's one major trick the Huawei Mate 20 Pro's wide-angle camera can do that the other two cannot, and that's taking macro shots. Notice right here I can get a lot closer into the subject and maintain focus with the Huawei Mate 20 Pro than I can with the other two phones. I mean, check out these images right here. Look at how clear and clean Huawei Mate 20 Pro's images, while the other two are blurry because the camera just cannot focus that close to the flower. So I want to take an image that's in focus with the wide-angle camera of the LG V40 and Galaxy S10 Plus, I have to pull back a little bit. But the truth is, all three of these wide-angle cameras are good enough, because you don't take a picture with a phone's wide-angle lens hoping to pixel peep later and zoom in all the way to the middle. If you want to do that, take a picture with the main camera. The point of a wide-angle camera, it's allowing you to get more into the frame. So for example, I travel a lot, so when I'm in Europe, there'll be a lot of nice architecture, you know, like really epic historic buildings, and I want to take a picture of the whole building with a wide-angle lens. I'm able to do that just standing right in front of the building. If I have an iPhone on me without a wide-angle lens, I generally have to back all the way up like 50 feet. Sometimes I have to cross the street or stand in the middle of the street. I can't tell you how many times I try to take a picture of a building and I almost get hit by a car because I have to like stand all the way out to the street. With a wide-angle camera, you don't have to do that because you can get more into the frame. Now likewise, if you want to take group photos, or if you're taking photos in a tight space. So one of the big uses of the wide-angle lens for me is I played in a band with my friends, and the band room in Hong Kong is really, really small. I mean, the room is like 100 square feet. That's like a size of your bathroom probably. And the four of us are in that room. And if I'm trying to shoot a video of the band with an iPhone, there's just no way I can capture everybody because there's just not enough room to put the camera back far enough. So that means the camera is like too close and it'll just be shooting me and the bassist or like the guitarist and the singer, and then you know it can't get all four of us. But with a wide-angle camera, then I can capture the whole band at once. So a wide-angle camera is very, very useful, and the point isn't really to pick apart pixels. And in that regard, all three cameras are damn good. Okay, so that's it for now. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. I also have a Twitter account at NixGadgetUp. It's my new website, so if you're on Twitter and you want to keep up to date to my videos or articles I write, then please give that a follow. I post there more and more frequently. I'm gonna have a lot more photo samples there and stuff. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching.